Today, we're asking ChatGPT to tell me what Pokemons to buy for reselling, flipping, grading purposes. This video is absolutely insane. I never would have thought I'd be asking an AI program to tell me what Pokemon to buy. I mean, this video is so cool. Stick around to the very end because we actually purchased one of the cards that ChatGPT got, and it might have been a scam. We're gonna get to that in a second, but let's get right into this video. Now, first off, I asked ChatGPT the prompt. By the way, this is premium, this is the pro version, and the prompt I gave was, today you'll be doing an in-depth analysis and risk management of grading Pokemon cards. This will be taking grading and card knowledge as well as risk management. Are you ready? Do you have any questions before we begin? Basically, it asks me a bunch of questions, what I want, grading, cost analysis, card concepts, blah, 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 and I tell it everything I want. We are grading for reselling profit. There would be cards that are graded with less established companies or raw cards. We would be grading with PSA once or if we buy the card, possibly BGS if they're gold or black label worthy, blah, blah, blah. We go on and on. I'm okay with risk, da, da, da. Anyways, it tells me what it thinks. It tells me all the risk management. It tells me risk profile, condition assessment, breakdown. It says it's gonna tell me the condition of these cards. It says it's gonna give me a price benchmark, card identification with certain numbers to see if they're legit, risk profile, cost and profit estimates, and final decisions buy, continue buying, cautional, pass, whatever it may be. It's telling me what the grading cost would be, what the BGS cost would be, the shipping, eBay taxes, sales platform fees, everything. And now finally, I'm going to show the cards that I'm looking at. By the way, all these cards are actually Chinese graded labels, so they are from Chinese companies, but they're actually Japanese Pokemon cards. But I have to say that we're gonna get into that. Maybe not the best decision for me, but this is the first card I found from eBay. All of these are from the same seller. Let's get into the first card. Now, our first card is the image, This is the card, okay? As you can see, I wanted to make sure that ChatGPT can actually see the grade of this Umbreon, this E-Series Umbreon Holo, that's in Japanese. I wanted to make sure ChatGPT could actually form its own decision on what grade this card should be. So I showed it the front, I showed it the back right here. Next, I showed it what a PSA 9 card looks like. So this is not the card, this is just another version of the card to show, okay, this is what a PSA 9 looks like, and this is what the back of a PSA 9 would look like, and then this is what a PSA 10 would look like, and this is what the back of a PSA 10 look like. Basically, I'm trying to say what grade is this Pokemon truly before I actually show it the real grade. And based on its assessment, blah, 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 it's saying that there are no red flags, slightly heavy on the bottom right, with a PSA 9 intolerance, PSA 10 possible if lenient grader. So it's saying estimate grade 75% likelihood of a PSA 9, and a PSA 10 would be at 25% shot. Now, it's giving me the card analysis, the card grading. What would it cost for a recent sale? $1,300 to $1,600 for a PSA 10, and a PSA 9 going from around $350 to $475. Now you can mean this whole profitability thing, but I want to show you this because I finally showed what ChatGPT, what the grade really was in this card, and indeed, it is a Chinese CICC, that's a Chinese company, 9.5. Now we look on the back, it's still 9.5. I don't know why I have to show the back. I give it the real PSA 10, PSA 9, and PSA 8s, because I'll be honest, ChatGPT isn't the best at finding the actual most recent sales data, so I give it the real sales data of PSA 10 being 5K, PSA 9 being 1.7K, and PSA 8 being 750 to 1.5K. And then it gave me a summary. It's basically saying, okay, that's really interesting, that's really cool, good to know. Based on this card getting a likely possible PSA 10, but more likely PSA 9, I'm going to say your profit model should be based on winning 1,300 Canadian maximum. So that's the maximum you should spend on this card. The very maximum you should be able to spend on this card, and it's going, the final score is a 9.2 out of 10. That's like a made up score. I don't know what 9.2 is, but a 9.2 out of 10 for a risk adjustment profile potential. It's a high chance of becoming a 9, which is still actually a profit. And if you get that 10, you make a huge profit. So I said, okay, I would like my maximum bid with taxes and shipping to be around $1,225, maybe $1,300, and that's what I said. So when the grading and the actually bidding finally came, I logged on to eBay. I'm thinking, oh my god, I can actually get this card. This is at $900 or something. I can actually purchase this card, make a profit. That would be so cool. I log on to eBay with 5 minutes left, and it's ready at 1,650 Canadian, 1,200 USD. Before shipping, before taxes, before any of that. This card likely sold for around 1,850 Canadian with the shipping, with the taxes. Wow. I mean, real quick. I wanted to spend 1,300. This sold for basically $1,800 with tax and shipping included. It's ridiculous. I could have never gotten this card. Okay, so that was a fail. That's okay. ChatGPT tried its best, and I didn't want to go over the risk management. I didn't want to go over the price I paid, and I think that's very fair. I stuck to my guns. Let's see the next card we looked at. I said the next card is this Gengar in a CICC 10. Now let's move on the condition to the back. I mean, it doesn't really matter for you guys. I showed the actual company that sold it. Like maybe this is a reputable company. This is the exact specs of it. There's 3 days left, 8 bids in total, $50 shipping. And then I showed it other Gengars that were selling for different prices. Like you can see, these are all 10s, selling for around 800. These are more 10s selling for 900. And then I found some more 10s selling for around 1800 to 2000. As you can see, the price really varies on this card. Basically, I showed it the card, and it did another analysis review, went over it, what's the price difference, keep going on. And finally, the recommendation said that the risk score is 8.3, which again, just a made up number, for this Neo 4 Dark Gengar, and it's setting that 600 should be the max price I pay, and 1,300 for the Umbreon. Now, $600 is actually pretty good in my price range because I felt that was a good amount to pay for a card that could be roughly $700 in a PSA 9 and around $1,300 in a PSA 10. And I thought, you know what, this is an okay price. It's not as expensive as the Umbreon. I was actually hoping I win this one. I thought it was definitely great. And I said, can I bump it up? Maybe I thought the max I could pay is 700. So I said 600 and 700 range. Now let's check what it actually sold for. It sold for 680. Now this is actually on my list. I was thinking of buying it, whether I should keep, sell, buy, but I ended up not buying it because I actually decided to look at the card more. And ChatGPT said it looked at the card, but let's be so real right now. ChatGPT was not looking at this card, and we'll get to that in a second. You can see that the top centering, at least right here, is very heavy. That is at least 60%. And the bottom, that's like 35. It might be 65, 35. I checked the back, and it didn't look the best. I mean, this side looked fine. But again, you can see that the top centering was just a lot off. I really didn't think you can get a PSA 10. And PSA 9 selling for basically $600. I wasn't confident, especially with the tax I'd pay, the shipping I'd pay, the PSA grading cost. I said, you know what, we're not going to buy this Gengar. So although ChatGPT did a good analysis, it couldn't understand the actual condition of this card, not like a true collector. It can't understand like we do. And I'm going to get to that in a second. I keep saying that, but the last card we bought, the card that actually determines it all, ChatGPT might have gotten something wrong on it. We might have gotten scammed, but we'll get to that at the very end. Now let's see the next card we actually want to show ChatGPT. This is a Gengar Level X PSA 10. This card is absolutely sick, by the way. I kind of wish I bought this card just because how absolutely insane this card looks. Here's the PSA 10. We can see the seller. These are all from the same seller, by the way. I thought it'd be easier just that way. There is $10 bids right now, 3 days left, and 8 bids so far. And then, of course, I show the other comps on eBay, $1,600 for a PSA 10, roughly $2,000 at $900. Basically, it's completely fluctuating all over the place. And it's saying that the verdict is a strong chance of a PSA 10, 65 to 70%. Otherwise, a likely PSA 9 chance. So PSA 10, 65, PSA 9, 30%, PSA 8, 5%. I was thinking with the averages being 1,600 to 2,000 CAD for a PSA 10 and PSA 9 going for around $400 to $500. My profit or ROI analysis, this is all speculative, would be pretty high. And I thought the max bid I should pay on this is $800 Canadian. I agreed with ChatGPT. I thought this was actually a great purchase, a great pickup, all in cost. It gave me the max cost after tax, after shipping, after PSA grading. And I thought that this price of $800 Canadian was actually really good. So when it came to bid, I said, you know what, I'm gonna get this card for $800. Sadly, again, this is gonna be a common theme on this list. The card went way over that at $1,087, almost $300 over our limit. So sadly, we did not get this card. I would have loved to get this card because I did think it had a high PSA 10 chance, but also I'm sticking with my guns. I'm sticking with what ChatGPT said. I'm not letting emotion get the best of me. And of course, this is a card game. I love this card game just as much as you. I've been a player for like 9 years, so I know about the emotional ties. I know this is truly a card game for kids, for people who love the game, but I just wanted to try this whole video as kind of a interesting test. So that didn't work out. We have 3 more cards, and again, the final card we do buy. Next up, we have this kind of poncho mega Pokemon card. I thought it would actually be a really good pickup, especially with mega Pokemon coming out. It has Lucario, it has Slowpoke, and it has this other card. It's amazing, honestly. Beautiful artwork. It's not a full illustration rare like, the Poncho Rayquaza, the Poncho Charizard, but I thought it was still really cool. We can see the price it was going for was around $56 USD, 3 days, 12 hours left, 21 bids. So I knew this had a lot of bids, meaning that it would probably be a high commodity item, high bids, and it's selling for around $1,400 to $1,600 Canadian. That's what I saw the median price is. And I told, start looking, start authenticating, start seeing what this is. And it said that the conversion was a 60 to 70% chance of a PSA 10 and a 30% chance of a PSA 9, with PSA 10s worth around $1,400 to $750 and PSA 9s being worth around $400 to $700. Now, it gave me the financial model, the recommendation, summary, everything. And it said the maximum I should pay is $775 to $850. So I said, okay, let's say $775 on the low end, because honestly, I'm not the best with these Poncho cards. So I thought, it's a strong, iconic, cool card with Mega Pokemon coming out. Let's take a risk on that. Let's take a look at what it actually sold for. It sold for $1,150. Bro, I can't buy any of these. It keeps going way more than I can purchase it for. Such a high price. I mean, I tried my best, let's be honest here. I logged on the exact time. I placed my bid. I did what I could. It sold for too high. And honestly, this is probably going to be a PSA 10. But again, I'm not going to go over what it says. I'm not going to disobey ChatGPT, my Lord and Savior, my AI God. Let's move on to the second last one before we actually get to the main card we bought. This is the Gengar. It's a 9.5. It's just an E-Series one, but it's a non-holo. This one always reminded me of kind of a creepy, weird-looking Gengar, almost like in the shadows. And it's saying that the comps, there's no recent ones. The last ones are in May, 560. We also have one in July for 164, which is actually the 9.5, the exact other card that we're going to buy. And then the normal PSA 10 selling around 400. So I thought, you know what? This is going to be a really low cost item that we might want to try to buy, because since it's a low cost item, it's a low risk. And I wanted to try to see that. It's saying that PSA 10 is going for 560, PSA 9 is going for 300. So it gave me this entire cost analysis. And at the end, it said the most you want to pay for this is $125. I said, you know what? I'm going to say $155 because I honestly feel like this is a nice contender. It looks very good. And of course, let's go to what it sold for. And drum roll, please. I got outbid by $4. Now, look, I did say I'd pay $155. But when push came to shove, my max bid was like $153. So I don't know if I actually would have won this at $155. 17 cents more. I don't really know. I ended up just not buying it because I thought it was not worth it. I just kept putting my bid in, and eventually it wasn't worth it, honestly. At the end, I tried my best. I thought it was too low cost, low ticket item. I tried my best with this. Someone beat me by like 17 cents. They said, you know what? I'm not going to spend more than $155. They're like, I'm going to spend $156. And they absolutely destroyed me. So we did not end up getting that. And finally, the last card I want to say before we move on to the actual card we bought is this really, really cool Charizard CICC 10. This is like a Delta species Charizard. It looks absolutely beautiful. The last sold in are in a PSA 10 are around $1,200. And you can actually see, not $1,200, $2,000. But you can see right here, the CICC 10, which is the one we're trying to buy, sold for $1,300. So that's what the price was probably going to be. Now we looked at more. It's selling for around $500 in the PSA 9, selling for $2,000 in PSA 10. We looked more, $1,800, $1,800. So that was the median price, the average price the PSA 10s were selling for. It looked at the authenticity. It looked at everything. It told me what to expect, what it was likely. And in the end, it told me it's a PSA 10 that will not high chance to be a PSA 9. So it's saying it will probably be a PSA 10. I thought, wow, ChatGPT, my God and Savior, you are so smart. That is so amazing to hear. It analyzed the PSA 10s, it analyzed the PSA 9 cost, and it gave me this price breakdown, what I should be spending, and it was telling me the upside potential, giving me stars and stuff. I'm like, I don't need all these stars and shit. Like, okay, max bid recommendations. That's all I want. That's all I want. Right here, $1,225. This is what you want to pay at the max. Now, if you want to be safe, cap it at $675 or $725. But if you want to, splurge a little bit, be a little more risky, and probably get this card, spend $1,225. So I said, okay, we're gonna spend $1,250. I was like, we're going for this. Let's see what it sold for. Drum roll, please. Bam! $1,219. So you might be saying again, Ethan, why didn't you buy this card? You said you're gonna buy this card for $1,225, $1,250. I said to myself, what am I thinking? This is a card that I don't know the chances of. I didn't think this is gonna be a PSA 10 because then I looked at it. Again, I had to take a look at it myself. I said, let's check out this listing before I actually buy it, because I was winning the bid for a couple minutes right there and I was getting a little scared. I said, let's take a look at this card. Right side, okay, it's not bad. Left side, not bad at all. We go up, top, bottom, okay, that's pretty good. Then I saw the back and I was wondering if there was some issues with it because I was seeing a little bit of what looked to almost be some tiny little chips here. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but there's some tiny little chips. I was getting worried. I was getting a little bit of panic. I don't know if that was me just kind of being scared of all this risk. And then I looked at the bottom. I was like, there are definitely some weird dent looking bites taken out of it. Some tiny ones. I'm not saying these huge things, but I'm just saying this card doesn't look right. I looked up the reputation of this CICC company right here. CICC, this new Chinese grading company. And we're going to talk about it later, but it's not the absolute best. But finally, let's forget about all the 5 cards we didn't get. Yes, we missed out on 5, maybe 6 cards. We tried our best. But this last card, I promise, we bought. So let's move on to the very last card. It is the Mew EX from 2005 in a CICC 10. Beautiful, beautiful card. I thought this card looks absolutely spectacular. With Mew's popularity rising every single day, I thought this would just be a great card to own, great card to have. I checked it out the back looked fine. I checked out the PSA 10s and everything going for. It was currently going for $200 with 59 minutes left. So this is actually the most, or actually least recent card. This is the one that we saw right away and I was like, oh my god, is this gonna be the one I get? So 60 minutes left, selling for $200, and I checked it out. The PSA 10s were selling for around $800 to $1,000 to $1,200, and the CICCs were selling for around $300. So I was saying, okay, if I can get this for $300, and the PSA 10s are going for around $2,000 or $1,200, and the PSA 9s are going for $400, this is a steal. If I can get this for like $315, I need this. I need this one to be the one I get. I need this one to be the one, and it was telling me the maximum I should pay for this card is $295 Canadian. All in. $295, my max bid. So I said, you know what, ChatGPT, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna try my best on this last one. And finally, the last card on our list, the last card we bought, we actually got it for $300. Yes, this is our bid. We paid $300. I'm gonna show you right here. We got the card, $300. Absolutely insane. Yes, this is $5 more than I actually said I'd buy it for, but honestly, I thought the condition was great. I thought the card was absolutely amazing. I thought the upside potential was just too much to risk. I'm gonna show you the card a little closer. You see the top, the side, the back, the front. Absolutely insane. I thought this card looks absolutely beautiful. I keep saying that, but this card really reminds me of just the old era, the old vintage Pokemon. I thought it'd be great to have in my collection. But now I'm asking, why did I maybe get scammed? What's wrong with this? This card looks perfect. It looks beautiful. Well, you can't see this well right here, but if you can see at the very top, there is a white dent. There's a white nick right there. And I'm actually so stupid because look, if you go back to the PSA 10, the risk analysis I did with ChatGPT, and you actually look at the back of this card, you can see that right here, zoom in a little bit, there's a little nick right there. Right there. And when I got the card, of course, a little nick right there. I messed up, guys. I'll be honest here. I trusted in ChatGPT a little too much. I thought ChatGPT was a professional grader or something. I didn't look at the cards enough. I thought this last card, I kind of FOMO, I kind of panicked. I was a little bit too hyped and I bought this card. I'll be honest here. I think this card is still spectacular. I think it's still beautiful. I think worst case scenario, it's still like a PSA 8 or 9. It does have this little chip. And in a CICC 10, it's still worth something. But it just goes to show you that AI is not there yet. It's not at the level where it can assess these things, that the collector's eye, the investor's eye is still much stronger. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with this card right now. I'll be honest here. If you have any suggestions in the comment, what I should do, because I don't think I'm gonna grade this card. Obviously, it is not worthy of a PSA 10. Obviously, this is not the card I thought I'd be getting. It is still a beautiful, absolutely beautiful card. Let me know in the comment section below. Should I return this? Should I sell this at a card show? Should I try to just grade it and see what happens? It's up to you guys in the comment section below. I still think this card is absolutely beautiful. But that was the video. Let's recap it. We tried to buy 6 cards. 5 of them were over our price range, over our budget. And the 6th card we actually ended up buying, but it turned out to be in a worse condition than we thought. And a quick thing I want to mention, this company, CICC, take a look at it right now. All the Chinese Pokemon, all the Japanese Pokemon are being graded in CICC. Do not trust this company, okay? I looked up more, I should have done that earlier. I looked it up more on this CICC company, and guess what? It is not a reputable company. It grades extremely leniently. I mean, it has some cards that look like PSA 6 that are somehow PSA 10s with nicks, scratches, dents. It doesn't care. It gives PSA 10s like they're hotcakes. And you see a PSA 9 in CICC, it's probably a PSA 3, okay? Do not be trusting this company. Learn from my mistakes. Learn the hard way, even though I got a beautiful card out of it for a price that I'm actually okay with. I should not trust this company, and you should not be trusting the company, but that's the video. That is the entire video. We asked ChatGPT to buy and look at all these cards, and guess what? We actually purchased one at the end. This was a great experiment to see what ChatGPT thought, giving risk analysis, telling me what I should buy, what I shouldn't buy, my max bids, max caps, everything like this, PSA 10 chances, PSA 9 chances, and we learned that CICC is a crappy company and that we should always trust our actual true eyes and not AI. Thank you for watching this video so much. This is a ton of fun to make. Let me know in the comment section what I should do about this Mew and how do you think about this video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Peace!